A massive tooth, thick, serrated, and unmistakably carnivorous, has just been discovered in the unlikeliest of locations, the frozen soil of northern Europe. Not Montana, not Canada, but a quiet region where no T-Rex fossil has ever officially been recorded. Paleontologists were shocked. The initial analysis suggests the tooth matches the size, shape, and wear patterns of those previously attributed to Tyrannosaurusrex. But that raises a troubling question. What was a T-Rex doing thousands of miles outside its known territory? The scientific community has long maintained that T-Rex lived only in western North America during the late Cretaceous period. And yet, here we are with what may be the most significant fossil discovery in decades. Could it be an ancient mistake in mapping the dinosaurs' range? Or are we looking at a fossil that changes everything? Some experts are even whispering about the possibility of a previously unknown migration route. But others claim it's impossible. Too coincidental, too clean, too perfect. A tooth this rare, this well-preserved, found far from where it should be. Either it rewrites history or someone planted it. Let's dig into the evidence and find out what this fossil really means for our understanding of T-Rex. At first glance, it looks like any other T-Rex tooth, massive, banana-shaped, lined with serrations like steak knives. But on closer inspection, this tooth is far from ordinary. It's remarkably well preserved, showing minimal weathering, deep enamel ridges, and microscopic wear marks consistent with a powerful predator tearing through bone. According to radiometric dating of the surrounding sediment, the tooth is at least 66 million years old, which places it exactly within the time range of known T-Rex fossils. But here's where things get strange. The tooth was found in a rock layer that has no other known dinosaur fossils nearby. No bones, no footprints, nothing. It's like the tooth appeared out of nowhere. Even stranger, the tooth's chemical composition doesn't fully match the soil it was found in, raising suspicions of displacement. Could it have been washed in from somewhere else? Or was it deliberately placed there by human hands? Fossil fraud isn't unheard of, especially with millions of dollars riding on major discoveries. But if the tooth is genuine, it challenges everything we thought we knew about T-Rex's habitat. Was this predator more widespread than previously believed? Or are we looking at something else entirely? Something even more ancient or more controversial? Tyrannosaurus rex has long been considered a North American icon, a beast that stalked the ancient plains of what is now Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. But what if that image is incomplete? What if the king of the dinosaurs wasn't confined to one continent? This newly found tooth opens the door to a controversial theory that T-Rex, or a close relative, migrated or evolved in regions far beyond North America. Some paleontologists have suggested that large Tyrannosaurids relatives like Tarbosaurus in Asia might be evidence of a global predator lineage. But until now, no direct Rex fossil has ever been discovered outside North America. That's why this single tooth could be revolutionary, if confirmed. It may indicate that T-Rex, or a creature nearly identical to it, once stalked other parts of the world. Perhaps a lost population existed, cut off by shifting continents or rising sea levels. Or maybe we've been too quick to separate species that were actually just regional variants of the same animal. Either way, this tooth forces us to rethink dinosaur migration, adaptation, and even evolution itself. Could the king of the dinosaurs have ruled more territory than we ever imagined as news of the tooth spread? So did skepticism. Leading paleontologists began asking tough questions. Could this really be a genuine T-Rex tooth? Or was it a planted fake, crafted to deceive or draw attention? One group argues that the enamel structure and wear patterns are too perfect, almost textbook. Another notes that the surrounding matrix shows signs of recent disturbance, suggesting human interference. There's also a troubling lack of associated fossils. No other dinosaur bones were found at the site. No plant fossils, not even microfossils. Just one perfect tooth, sitting alone. That's not how nature usually works. It's rare for a predator's tooth to survive that long in isolation without any supporting evidence. And let's not ignore the growing market for fossils, where a single-taste Rex tooth can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Could someone have planted it, cleaned it up, or worse, created a composite fake using resin and bone fragments? We've seen it before. From Piltdown Man to forged missing links, the stakes are high. Either this is a discovery that will rewrite dinosaur history, or it's a sophisticated hoax that fooled the world's top scientists. For now, the jury is still out. Let's imagine, for a moment, that the tooth is real. What kind of monster left it behind? A full-grown T. Rex had a bite force estimated at 12 to 800 pounds per square inch, enough to crush a car door. Teeth like this one weren't just for show. They were used to slice through flesh and shatter bone. If the tooth came from a mature individual, we're talking about a predator over 40 feet long, weighing up to 9 tons. The serrated edges show microscopic chips, likely from gnawing on bone or clashing with another carnivore. There are even slight stress fractures, possibly from an intense struggle for dominance. Based on the curvature, this tooth likely came from the upper jaw, used to grip and shake prey like a crocodile. Imagine the scene. This predator lunges at a struggling hadrosaur, clamping down with surgical precision, tearing off chunks of meat with every motion. Now picture that scene happening not in Montana, but in an ancient European forest. If true, this discovery paints a far more complex picture of dinosaur behavior and range. Were multiple apex predators competing in the same ecosystem, or did T. Rex have an undiscovered global empire? This isn't the first time a mysterious fossil has turned up outside the expected range. In the 1960s, reports surfaced of large theropod teeth in Central Asia that were dismissed as misidentified or poorly documented. In the 1980s, a collector in Greenland claimed to have unearthed a giant carnivore claw, but it was never published in any journal. Could these earlier discoveries have been ignored because they didn't fit the dominant narrative? Paleontology, like all science, is shaped by funding, politics, and academic consensus. Sometimes, evidence that contradicts established theory is quietly set aside or reclassified to avoid controversy. Is it possible that clues about a wider T. Rex distribution have been with us all along? Some suggest that early fossil hunters lacked the tools or context to recognize what they'd found. Others believe that certain discoveries were buried figuratively because they threatened reputations or museum agendas. This new tooth might just be the tip of the iceberg. If more evidence emerges, we could be facing a massive revision of everything we thought we knew about the late Cretaceous world. Perhaps history hasn't just been lost, it's been selectively forgotten. Not everyone agrees this tooth belonged to a T. Rex. Some experts suggest it may have come from a closely related but distinct species. After all, similar large theropods like Tarbosaurus and Zukenotyrannus share many dental features. So what if this isn't a Rex at all, but a cousin? Even more provocative, what if this is a brand new species, never seen before? A species that evolved in isolation, developing traits similar to T. Rex through their convergent evolution. If the tooth differs subtly in root structure, enamel thickness, or curvature, it might belong to an entirely unknown predator. And what does that say about our classification system? How many other T. Rex fossils might actually belong to other species? This wouldn't be the first time paleontology has had to backtrack. The infamous Brontosaurus was erased, then restored. Nanotyrannus was once thought to be a miniature T. Rex, now it's possibly just a juvenile. This mystery tooth forces us to ask how much of what we know is still based on outdated assumptions. Are we clinging to old names simply because they're familiar? Maybe this is the real reason the discovery is so controversial. It threatens to upend everything. There's an uncomfortable truth in paleontology. Today, fossils are big business. Museums, private collectors, and auction houses trade dinosaur bones like luxury goods. A well-preserved T-Rex tooth can sell for over $50,000. That kind of money creates temptation. It's no secret that some fossil dealers have been caught enhancing or outright faking specimens to boost value. Teeth are especially vulnerable. They're portable, dramatic, and harder to verify without full skeletons. Was this rare tooth planted to raise a site's value, or discovered at the right moment to attract media attention and funding? There's also the issue of access. Many important fossils are now in private hands, unavailable to science. If this tooth ends up in a collector's vault, we may never get the full story. And who controls that story? The scientist, the sponsor, the museum, or the highest bidder? In a field that claims to seek truth, profit often comes first. That doesn't mean the discovery isn't real, but it does mean we should be skeptical. Is the excitement about rewriting history or about writing checks? If we're not careful, paleontology could become less about discovery and more about show business. If this tooth is real and not a hoax or misidentified, it forces a massive rethinking of dinosaur evolution. For decades, T-Rex has stood as the pinnacle of predatory evolution, fast, smart, deadly. But if a similar creature existed outside North America, that suggests parallel evolution or migration, both of which raise difficult questions. Did giant theropods evolve independently in different places? Or did one ancestor spread across continents before diverging, if they spread? How continental driftland bridges, and how did they adapt to different climates, prey, and competition? Maybe T-Rex wasn't the only apex predator to reach such heights. Maybe the world was full of kings, each ruling their own domain. This forces us to rethink our clean, linear picture of dinosaur evolution. The tree of life might be messier than we thought. More branches, more dead ends, more surprises. And that's what makes this discovery so important. It reminds us that science isn't settled, it's always evolving. The truth may be buried, but it's not lost. And sometimes, all it takes is one tooth to change everything. So, what does it all mean? This tooth, real or not, has sparked debates across the scientific world. It's forced us to question accepted history, dig through forgotten records, and confront the uncomfortable possibility of fraud. But more than anything, it's reignited public fascination with the mysteries of our prehistoric past. Whether it proves to be genuine, a misidentified cousin, or a well-crafted fake. One thing is clear, this discovery demands attention. If real, it could signal the presence of T-Rex in places we never imagined, rewriting everything from evolutionary maps to museum exhibits. If false, it exposes how vulnerable science is to sensationalism and greed. Either way, it's a wake-up call. Paleontology is not just about bones, it's about stories, and every story deserves to be questioned. So, what do you think? Was this a groundbreaking find or a clever trick? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more shocking discoveries from the lost world of dinosaurs. The next fossil might not just rewrite history, it might change how we see the entire ancient world.